Hello and welcome, my leaves of origin. The mysterious Pokémon Mew is said to be the ancestor of all Pokémon, since it apparently has genes in it that you can find in every known Pokémon. But why is Mew only a psychic type then? If it had genes of grass types, for example, it should be a grass type. So, does it really have the same genes as all the other Pokémon out there? Or at least some of them? And even if it has those genes, you could say that all but the psychic type genes lay dormant. And if those are lying dormant, this would mean two things. It can give those genes to its children, and it would be able to have offsprings with all other Pokémon. So, might there be more than just one form of Mew? The Mew we know is the psychic one, where the psychic genes are active. But what if there are other forms? One for each type, actually. These different types of Mew would breed with each other and over time evolve into the Pokémon we know today, including dual types, which are basically the children of Mews of two different types. So, what could they look like and how would they behave? We know that the psychic Mew is very playful, which can of course be a nod to its fetus-like design, basically making it a child. But maybe they all had different personality traits. Also, which gen should they have been introduced in, if we say that each gen gets a new form? And since we only have 8 gens, which parts of our Earth should they be introduced in? Let's see. The normal Mew just goes around, looking for food and a good place to sleep. It likes soft places and having the sun shine on it while sleeping. It's lazy, but if you annoy it, you still should watch out, since it is also pretty robust and powerful. Also, never touch its food. It will never forgive you if you take some of that. On the other side, if it gives you some of its food, you know it trusts you full-heartedly. Of course, Kanto would have been good for this one, but we can't take the psychic one away from there. So why not Sinnoh as a nod to Arceus, which, without any plate attached to it, is also a normal type? Maybe it even was the first Mew created. This one likes to challenge strong opponents to battles. When it is not battling someone, it trains itself. Also, if it sees something unjust going on, it will come out like a knight to defeat the evildoers. It forms a sword and a shield out of its aura, and it can make both of them pretty big, depending on how well trained it is. Its tail, while looking like a good tool to attack, is more often used to get berries down from trees. Of course, this knightly one has to be introduced in Galar, for very obvious reasons. The Mew we all know is able to fly. However, not all of them should be able to. This one of course is able to fly, or else it wouldn't be flying type. But it's naturally flying with its wings, not psychic powers. It is able to hear what's going on the land below it, even if it is flying as high as the clouds. And can use echolocation to search for prey. If we say the Mews ate each other, since at the time they were the only Pokémon. Well, let's introduce this form in Alola. Alola should be water, since there's so much water there? Come on, you know that it will horse the water type Mew. Alola works well, since it can fly from island to island. This one likes to trick others into fighting with each other, after which it will poison the winner to prey on them both. I really wanted to make a joke out of this, making it toxic in the way people can be toxic. But that kinda worked itself into a good idea for its behavior. Inspiration comes in the strangest forms and places, I guess. It hides in holes of all kinds, in trees, rocks, or the ground, whatever it can find, or steal off of someone else. I think the region this one should be introduced in should be something South American, since there are a lot of swamps there. Also, the bayou can look pretty creepy. Of course, swamps aren't really poisonous, as fantasy media implies, but well, Pokémon is one of those fantasy mediums. They build underground caves all day long. Why? Someone has to do it, or not? Yeah, but why? Well, they do the work without even knowing why they do it, really. They don't even live in those caves. They prefer burying themselves in the ground to sleep, and when they wake up, they either look for food, for their colony, or they dig. Maybe Diglett is the closest relative to them nowadays. Diglett, Diglett, dig. Let us introduce them in an Egypt-based region. Deserts and ground types go hand in hand, and their underground caves could be seen as similar to the interior of pyramids. They like ramming each other, but not because they are fighting, but in doing that, they can harden their bodies. They punch caves into mountains to look for gemstones in them, which are very delicious to them. This can make a mountain collapse right above them. However, if that happens, they just crawl out of the rubbly thing, since not even a mountain can harm them. I think a region based on Australia would be perfect for them. Ayers Rock would definitely be turned into a very important mountain in there. And since there aren't that many mountains in Australia, you could say that it is because they decimated them before going extinct. Maybe the most common Mew there is, but also one of the most rare you would see, since they are always hiding when not looking for food. While flying, they create spores that reflect light in a way that makes them almost invisible from beneath. They love sweet stuff like fruit juices or tree sap. Their region should be something near jungle, but also very quiet, like Ecuador or something. They can dive into the shadows of other creatures and hide in there. Also, when you sleep, they can go into your head and create dreams and nightmares. Fear is just tasty food for them, but if you don't show fear, they will simply lose interest and go away. They don't really mean any harm by instilling fear in others. It's just their nature, and nature can be cruel. The introductory region should be somewhere with high spiritualism. Maybe something like Peru, that is still tied to nature, would be good. A hive-minded creature. It can communicate with all of its kind, no matter how far away, through its antennae. They always try finding something new, or creating it themselves. There are theories that say they never really went extinct, but instead just flew into outer space in search of something unknown. Maybe their region should be in America, since it is a very industrial nation. Texas would be perfect, I think, since this is where Houston lies, and NASA is located in Houston. Loving their own reflections so much, they basically look into something that reflects them whenever they have the chance. They look down upon ugly things and would never touch them or even give them any recognition at all. This, however, is often the reason they get attacked. Some also go hungry for days because they can find food that looks good enough to be worthy of being eaten by them. In Norwegian region, what else? Stealthily hunting in packs. They stay hidden until they have their prey surrounded, after which the ones in the front jump out of hiding first to startle their prey, so those from behind can attack. They are never seen in daylight, and it might even be impossible to find their hiding spot at all. At first, I thought of an Alaskan region, since it can be night there for months. But such a region wouldn't really work, since it basically would be a region with only ice. But what about China? They hunt in a very strategic manner, and China had a very strategic military. Also, Sun Tzu? These little beauties love to dance. They like to fly through flower fields and give off a glittering powder with healing powers, which can heal plants and Pokémon alike. Most plants with healing properties probably got them from this. Their dances can also calm the minds of everyone. Even the most aggressive Mew types stop to watch them. Carlos introducing the fairy type would be a pretty lame reason. However, Carlos based on Paris, which is also known as the fashion capital, and them being all about beauty, is a good reason. Living mostly underwater, they sometimes come on land as well. Especially when it rains, since they not only love the rain but also like to wallow in pools of mud. When they start crying, they actually summon rain with that, which is said to be the origin of the move Rainy Day. They can live in sweet and salt water as well. Hoenn time. Too much water? Let's add this then to make it more. But seriously, people make fun of it. But I actually think so as well. There is so much water to traverse in Hoenn. And while water routes should be in every region, I don't really like them. But yeah, these little guys would fit right in there. Little pyromaniacs that would even burn down a forest to get their prey. Or if it is too cold. But their flames are special, as in the ashes of the stuff they burn down are especially nutritious, making plants grow stronger and faster. They like bathing in magma and using lava flows as slides. They can even burn water. Well, that is of course just a myth, but their flames don't go out even if they dive into the water. You can tell one is diving down by the steam that rises out of the water. Flaming red maple leaves. Canada it is. Also, I don't wanna be mean and say Australia or the American West Coast. Peaceful beings that live together with nature. Care for plants and other Pokémon by healing them when they find them injured. Their healing powers are based on the sunlight they absorb, and they would even give so much of that energy to injured beings that they don't have enough for themselves anymore. Gladly, as long as the sun is out, they can get more. Johto. Sure, with Celebi we would have 2 grass-type mythicals, but what could be more fitting than the Johto region? They like to race other electric-type Mews to see who is faster. The winner gets to be the leader of the losers. When there's a lightning storm going on, they search for high places in the hope to get struck by lightning, which empowers them greatly. The leader, of course, earns the right of the highest place. But even if the leader is determined by comparing their speeds, this doesn't make them dictator-like. The leader actually watches out for all the other members and everyone gets along. A region based on Venezuela. This might sound strange at first, but by researching this, I found something awesome. FYI, I love lightning storms. And about 1 kilometer above Catatumbo River in Venezuela, there are storm clouds releasing lightning 140 to 160 nights per year for about 9 hours straight, with 16 to 40 impacts per minute. Not only is this perfect for this type of Mew, this also shows how powerful nature can be. Also, it is awesome. If nature decides to get rid of us humans, the Rona could be a warning shot, if you think about it. It could do it pretty fast, I think. And lastly, there'll be dragons. They live on clouds, looking down on all the others. Well, literally looking down, not in the sense of them feeling superior, since they actually look down to see if something happens where their help is needed. They are actually very friendly. They don't tamper with stuff that is natural, but if something unnatural happens, they help. Might they even be the original dragon? Well, they might be, they might not be, but Unova with its big dragon lore would be a really good region to introduce them. The original dragon would at least be related to them, so yeah. So, those were my ideas for a Mew of every type. Did you... The sky gets torn apart, looking like the sky has cracks in it. A hole opens in the sky. Professor Kukui is wondering about it, remembering the ultra wormholes. However, these holes look very different. They can't be the same. He contacts all the other professors he knows. We are in generation 19. We traversed 18 regions and are now setting foot into a new one. At one point, this big hole in the sky opens. Nobody knows why. Very strange looking creatures start coming out of it. You couldn't make out what they look like in detail until you finally encountered one. What is this? Nothing seems to be super effective against them, but they also resist nothing. And they use moves you have never seen, so strange you can't even make out their types. And no matter which Pokemon you use, they are always super effective. The Pokemon you fight seems to be emotionless, just fighting because this is what it does. Bringing chaos. It can't be caught as well, so you defeat it. And then it just vanishes, looking like it glitched out of existence. After this encounter, will you ever be able to sleep again? With that, this video truly ends. Transform the like button and use Psychic on subscribe and the bell. Also, follow me on Twitter. What do you think about these Mew forms? Do you like them? Do you have your own ideas? Would it be cool to get a new Mew every gen? Tell me in the comments below. With this, I wish you sweet dreams. Bye, bye.